Krav Maga.
Krav Maga / krɑːv, mə́ɡΑː / is a self-defense system developed for the military in Israel that consists of a wide combination of techniques sourced from boxing, savate, Muay Thai, Wing Chun, Judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and grappling, along with realistic fight training. Krav Maga is known for its focus on real-world situations and extremely efficient and brutal counter-attacks. It was derived from street fighting skills developed by Slovakian-Israeli martial artist Imi Lichtenfeld, who made use of his training as a boxer and wrestler, as a means of defending the Jewish quarter against fascist groups in Bratislava in the mid to late 1930s. In the late 1940s, following his immigration to Palestine, he began to provide lessons on combat training to what was to become the IDF, who went on to develop the system that became known as Krav Maga. It has since been refined for civilian, police and military applications. Krav Maga has a philosophy emphasizing threat neutralization, simultaneous defensive and offensive maneuvers, and aggression. Krav Maga is used by Israeli Defense Forces, both regular and special forces, and several closely related variations have been developed and adopted by law enforcement and intelligence organizations, Mossad and Shin Bet. There are several organizations teaching variations of Krav Maga internationally.
Etymology.
The name in Hebrew can be translated as contact combat. The root word krāv, QAB, means battle, or combat, and maga, mg means contact.
Basic principles.
Krav Maga encourages students to avoid confrontation. If this is impossible or unsafe, it promotes finishing a fight as quickly as possible. Attacks are aimed at the most vulnerable parts of the body, and training is not limited to techniques that avoid severe injury. Some even permanently injure or cause death to the opponent. Drills provide maximum safety to students by the use of protective equipment and the use of reasonable force. Students learn to defend against all variety of attacks and are taught to counter in the quickest and most efficient way. Ideas in Krav Maga include counter-attacking as soon as possible, or attacking preemptively, targeting attacks to the body's most vulnerable points, such as the eyes, neck or throat, face, solar plexus, groin, ribs, knee, foot, fingers, etc. Maximum effectiveness and efficiency in order to neutralize the opponent as quickly as possible, maintaining awareness of surroundings while dealing with the threat in order to look for escape routes, further attackers, objects that could be used to defend or help attack, and so on. Training can also cover situational awareness to develop an understanding of one's surroundings, learning to understand the psychology of a street confrontation, and identifying potential threats before an attack occurs. It may also cover ways to deal with physical and verbal methods to avoid violence whenever possible.
History.
Imi Lichtenfeld, also known as Msde, was born in 1910 in Budapest, Hungary and grew up in Bratislava, Slovakia. Lichtenfeld became active in a wide range of sports, including gymnastics, wrestling, and boxing. In 1928, Lichtenfeld won the Slovakian Youth Wrestling Championship, and in 1929 the Adult Championship, light and middleweight divisions. That same year, he also won the National Boxing Championship and an International Gymnastics Championship. During the ensuing decade, his athletic activities focused mainly on wrestling, both as a contestant and a trainer. In the mid-1930s, anti-Semitic riots began to threaten the Jews of Bratislava. Lichtenfeld became the leader of a group of Jewish boxers and wrestlers who took to the streets to defend Jewish neighborhoods against the growing numbers of National Socialist Party and anti-Semitic thugs. Lichtenfeld quickly discovered, however, that actual fighting was very different from competition fighting, and although boxing and wrestling were good sports, they were not always practical for the aggressive and brutal nature of street combat. It was then that he started to re-evaluate his ideas about fighting and started developing the skills and techniques that would eventually become Krav Maga. Having become a thorn in the side of the equally anti-Semitic local authorities, Lichtenfeld left his home, family and friends in 1940 on the last refugee ship to escape Europe. After making his way to the Middle East, Lichtenfeld joined Israel's pre-state Haganah paramilitary organization to protect Jewish refugees from local inhabitants. In 1944 Lichtenfeld began training fighters in his areas of expertise: physical fitness, swimming, wrestling, use of the knife, and defenses against knife attacks. During this period, Lichtenfeld trained several elite units of the Haganah and Palmach, striking force of the Haganah and forerunner of the special units of the Israel Defense Forces, including the Palyam, as well as groups of police officers. In 1948, when the State of Israel was founded and the IDF was formed, Lichtenfeld became chief instructor for physical fitness and Krav Maga at the IDF School of Combat Fitness. He served in the IDF for about 20 years, during which time he developed and refined his unique method for self-defense and hand-to-hand combat. Self-defense was not a new concept, since nearly all martial arts had developed some form of defensive techniques in their quest for tournament or sport dominance. However, self-defense was based strictly upon the scientific and dynamic principles of the human body. Before retiring from the military, Lichtenfeld elected Eli Avitzer his military successor. With Lichtenfeld's blessing, Avitzer went on to strengthen Krav Maga with the addition of new techniques which maintain Krav Maga's central principles of maximum effectiveness and efficiency. Boaz Aviram succeeded Avitzer as chief instructor, and was followed only by a handful of others. Upon Imrich Lichtenfeld's retirement he decided to open a dojo martial arts school and teach a civilian form of the military form of Krav Maga, intending to keep most of the secrets of the system in the military, but yet teach a civilian version suitable for youth. The first Krav Maga course took place at the Wingate Institute, Netanya, Israel, in 1971, under the direct supervision of Imi Lichtenfeld. Some of the first students to receive a black belt in Lichtenfeld's Civilian Krav Maga Association of 1st Dan, were Eli Avitzer, Eyal Yanilov, Raphael Grisi, Haim Zut, Shmuel Kezviel, Haim Hakani, Shlomo Avi-Sira, Victor Bracher, Yaron Lichtenstein, Avner Hazan and Miki Ersilin. In 1978, Lichtenfeld founded the non-profit Israeli Krav Maga Association, IKMA, with several senior instructors. Lichtenfeld died in January 1998 in Netanya, Israel. When Krav Maga started to spread beyond the borders of Israel, there arose a need to found an international civilian organization. A few of Lichtenfeld's first and second generation students, among these being Aviat Zagal, Asaf Alavai and Dan Levy, eventually formed a new, civilian, international Krav Maga federation.
Grading system.
Most of the Krav Maga organizations in Israel, such as the IKMA, Israeli Krav Maga Association, by Haim Jiden, KMG, Krav Maga Global by Eyal Yanilov, KMF, Krav Maga Federation, by Haim Zut, and Bikon, by Yaron Lichtenstein, as well as International KMW, Krav Maga Worldwide, by Darren Levine, use Imi Lichtenfeld's colored belt grading system, which is based upon the Judo ranking system. It starts with white belt, and then yellow, orange, green, blue, brown and black belts. Black belt students can move up the ranks from 1st to 9th Dan. The time and requirements for advancing have some differences between the organizations. In Europe, the Fédération Européenne de Krav Maga, by Master Richard Dewey, and Krav Maga Academy Slovenia, by Master Kali Zainilog, also uses the colored belt grading system, which is based upon the Judo ranking system. Other organizations who teach Krav Maga in and outside of Israel, like the International Krav Maga Federation, IKMF, Krav Maga Global, KMG, and International Krav Maga, IKM, use the same grading system based on a series of patches. The patch system was developed by Imi Lichtenfeld after the belt system in the late 1980s. The grades are divided into 3 main categories: practitioner, graduate and expert. Each of the categories, which are often abbreviated to their initials, has 5 ranks. Grades P1 through to P5 are the student levels and make up the majority of the Krav Maga community. after P5 are G1 G5, and in order to achieve graduate level the student has to demonstrate a proficiency in all of the P-level techniques before advancing. The majority of instructors hold a G-level grade and are civilian instructors. However, passing the instructor's training course is a requirement, and holding a graduate rank does not necessarily make one an instructor. The graduate syllabus also builds on the practitioner syllabus by focusing more on developing fighting skills. The expert grades cover more advanced military and third-party protection techniques as well as advanced sparring and fighting skills. People who hold these ranks tend to teach in other sectors such as military and law enforcement in addition to civilian. In order to progress to expert level, one has to demonstrate proficiency in all of the practitioner and graduate syllabi and have excellent fighting skills. Beyond Expert 5 there is the rank of Master. However, this rank is held by only a small number of individuals and reserved only for those who have dedicated a lifetime to Krav Maga and made valuable contributions in teaching and promoting the style. Krav Maga organizations in the United States, South America and Europe such as Krav Maga Worldwide, Krav Maga Alliance, National Krav Maga Association, NKMA, United States Krav Maga Association, USKMA, South American Federation of Krav Maga, Federation Européenne de Krav Maga, European Federation of Krav Maga, Haganah System and Krav Maga Academy Slovenia, KMAS, also use a belt ranking system like that of the IKMA, KMF and BICAN. Although there are some subtle differences, the various organizations teach the same core techniques and principles.
Competition.
The Israeli Defense Force held its first ever Krav Maga tournament in May 2013.
Further reading.
MSDE or, founder, and Eyal Yanilov, head instructor, How to Defend Yourself Against Armed Assault, Decal Publishing House, 2001. This book is the first one published out of the only 3 books that were written by the founder, me, and his closest assistant, Eyal. It has been translated into 10 languages, including Japanese, Spanish, Czech, Hungarian, German, Dutch, French, Polish and more. Avaram, Boaz. Krav Maga, Use of the Human Body as a Weapon. Philosophy and Application of Hand-to-Hand Fighting Training System. U.S., Lulu Enterprises, 2009. ISBN 978-0-557-24846-9, ISBN 0-557-24846-9. Ben Asher, David. Fighting Fit. The Israeli Defense Forces Guide to Physical Fitness and Self-Defense. New York, Peerage Books, 1983. ISBN 0-399-50624-1, Khan, David. Krav Maga, An Essential Guide to the Renowned Method for Fitness and Self-Defense. London, Piatchkos, 2005. ISBN 0-01-303-950-4, Levine, Darren. Complete Krav Maga, The Ultimate Guide to Over 200 Self-Defense and Combative Techniques. Berkeley, California. Ulysses, 2007. ISBN 1-56975-573-6, Philippe, Christophe. The Essential Krav Maga, Self-Defense Techniques for Everyone. Berkeley, California. Blue Snake, 2006. ISBN 1-58394-168-1, Master Ofer. Haganah System, Self-Protection Academy founded by Ofer. Paris, Editions Amphora 2012, Lopresti, Gaetano. Krav Maga You Can Print, 2013. ISBN 8789103,357-9787891,103,352. Steve O, Alon.